Good morning. It is almost 8 a.m. Just took a shower and I am getting dressed for my coaching call. I'm feeling pretty good. I didn't get a ton of sleep last night. Maybe like 5 hours or something. But I'm really glad, as usual, that I went to class. It kind of blows my mind how that every morning I wake up for that class, part of me resists going. And then every time I go, I'm really grateful. And yet mentally, that gratitude that I experience after class doesn't stick around in my head as a motivation for going, if that makes sense. I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday, but I felt that yesterday when I went to my evening class. So I go to yoga classes usually 4 times a week. I'm on a good, if it's like a consistent week, I will figure out what I want to wear this morning. Oh, I know. I want something cozy right now. It's a good week, meaning if I'm consistent and I don't have other conflicts and I'm really committed, I will go to class. Gosh, I need to organize this drawer so badly. I keep saying that I'm going to do it. Has not happened. My clothes are all discombobulated. Anyways, I will, if it's a good week for me, meaning I'm really consistent, I will go to classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 5. Well, I get up at 5:15. Class starts at 6:15, and then on Sunday nights I will go to a class at 5. And it's challenging when I go to that because like last night I went to that, and then this morning I feel like justifying, like, well, I went to class last night, I don't need to go to class on Monday morning too. But the reality is I always feel better if I follow that pattern. But without fail, every Sunday I'll come up with excuses and try to convince myself to skip. And it's just so silly in hindsight. It's so silly when I'm on the other side of it. And I just think, why do I feel such a strong desire to skip every class, right? And probably in different stages of my life, I would skip a lot more often. But at this point, I really don't want that to be a regular occurrence. And as I've been saying for weeks in these videos, it is a regular occurrence in my mind. It's just that I have cultivated enough discipline to go despite that resistance. I'm gearing up for this morning's coaching call that I'm participating in. And I've got a good amount of work on my to-do list, but not too bad. I haven't overscheduled myself, which is important. I have a good amount of energy right now. What time is it? Okay, 9 minutes till the session. Yeah, my energy level feels really good despite not getting a lot of sleep. So that's nice. I think it probably came from class, but I feel like some days I'm just emotionally energized in a way that I'm not others. And yesterday, I don't really have a great place to put the camera while I'm doing a bunch of this stuff. Yesterday, I was really frustrated because I didn't have a ton of energy, and I had this like long to-do list, and I was beating myself up emotionally about it. And today, in this moment, I have a lot of energy, but I don't know how long that's going to last. And I think just having that perspective of yesterday versus today, I think energy is something that we can't always control. It's not just about sleep. It's not just about caffeine. It's not about willing yourself to have that energy. It's sometimes, and maybe most times, I'm not sure, but it feels like a lot of the times it's a bit out of our control, and or it just depends on so many more factors than we realize, right? There's such a ripple effect when it comes to sleep, for instance. And if we have sleep debt if we don't get enough sleep. So it's possible, even though I felt like I was sleeping so much over the past week during the holidays, I still felt exhausted yesterday. And today, even though I didn't get a lot of sleep, I feel very energized. Could that be from yoga? Potentially. Could that be because yesterday I was experiencing some emotional stress. I was processing a lot of emotions. I think that's also part of it. I think that emotional processing is something we need to address more and more. Today I have a more positive, hopeful mindset, and that in itself feels very energizing. And I'm grateful for more positivity. I'm still feeling a lot of emotions come up about my career path, and I think that's very normal for this time of year. I think a lot of us evaluate our lives. I think it's also really heightened because my books this week, I feel so vulnerable promoting a book on the keto diet. I feel nervous about promoting that bundle sale that I'm part of because I'm really afraid it's going to be a big flop for me. The good news is I have zero expectations about the outcome of it. Whereas the bundle sale I did in November to promote the consistency code, I had really big expectations for that. I thought, oh, this is a sure thing. I was partnering with Jason. You know, we're promoting on 3 platforms, his, mine, and Wellevator. And we put so much work in, and we surveyed our audiences, and we just like felt like we were checking off every box. And it did okay. I mean, we have a huge amount of students that are part of it, but we weren't paid for all of those students. That's the way these bundles work. So you basically contribute a product such as my ebook or the consistency code program, and you only make money from it if people buy directly through your link. So people will still get your product even if they because like the bundle sale that I'm doing in a couple days, for example, is I think there's like 50-ish people contributing. So there's 49 other people that are gonna be selling my product basically. And so my book is going to reach a really big audience, which is awesome, but I'm not gonna make money from a huge majority of that. And same thing with the consistency code program. Most of our students, we didn't get any money from. And we knew that going in, but it's challenging, and you have to think about it in a different way. So for us, we built our mailing list, which is really important to us, our newsletter email list. And we're also getting testimonials, and we're getting more experience, and we can test out the program. Like, that's all great, but it would be even better if there were more financial benefits to it. And I think that's a lot what I'm struggling with, just to be perfectly frank, is I mean, I have a good amount of success in so many ways, but financially it's a bit all over the place, and that feels really uncomfortable for my ego, because I feel like I've been doing this for so long and I know so many ways to make money and build an audience, but sometimes things just don't work, and I get really down on myself and frustrated when I feel like I'm trying everything I know how to do and it's not working. That makes me feel like I'm a failure somehow. I think that's probably what I'm really struggling with. And it's having me question social media, because having been doing social media for so long and trying to add so much value, it's such a huge numbers game on social media, and it's so uncomfortable for me because I'm not willing to go to extreme lengths or cheat or fake things. Like, that's against my moral code. And unfortunately, a lot of people do that. And a lot of people go to extreme lengths to get a big following, to make a lot of money. And it wouldn't really matter what they're doing versus what I'm doing. And ultimately, it doesn't matter what other people are doing. However, one of the ways that I generate revenue with my business is through brand partnerships, sponsors, affiliates, that sort of thing. And those are all numbers games. Like, they'll pay you more if you have more followers or bigger engagement. And so a lot of times you're being measured up against people that are similar to you. And that's mentally very challenging sometimes. So I have to ground myself a lot. I have to remind myself why I do what I do. And I think the hardest part is I feel like I'm constantly on my feet trying to figure out the most authentic ways for me to keep my business financially solid. And sometimes it really is, sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's a bit of a struggle. And even when I'm feeling solid in the present, my mental work right now is to not focus too much on the future. Like, that's in my head right now. Like, I feel fine in this moment financially, but I always have this concern that I'm not going to be fine in the future. And I've had that probably all of my life, but definitely most of my working life, I've had that feeling. So even when I had full-time jobs, I had that fear. So that's something that I really want to unravel and just find ways to be less concerned with that, because it's not serving me to be that concerned, you know? All right, I need to go get on this coaching call. I'm gonna join it right now as I'm talking to you, so you can see a little inside look of what this is like. One thing I really like about this one is they always start exactly on time. It's 8 o'clock. Here we go. I'll show you. Oh, okay, maybe not exactly on time. I'm waiting for them to start it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. It's 10:01. We'll get started in just a moment.
I'm watching yesterday's vlog, I meant to say, to make sure I put in all the right notes and links in the description field. And I'm at a point where I was talking about the year that Facebook and Twitter were founded, and I didn't know this off the top of my head. So Facebook started in 2004, which is, I think, when I got on the platform. 2004 seems late. That's so weird. It says February 2004. It doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like I was on it before that, but maybe I'm just remembering things differently. And then, okay, so in 2006 it opened to everybody, but you had to like be in college or something in order to join. Oh, I guess like it started in 2003 as like a paper only version, and then it was launched in 2004. Anyways, it's kind of interesting if you want to look it up on Wikipedia. Also, I found out that Twitter started on my birthday, which is March 21st, 2006. So I'll never forget that it started on my birthday. I'll just have to like remember Facebook 2004, YouTube 2005, Twitter 2006, and let's see, when did Instagram come out? It launched in 2010. I mean, I'm just gonna give myself a little pat on the back because I think I underestimated how early of an adopter I am. I've identified as an early adopter, especially when it comes to technology, health, and all that. But Instagram launched in 2010, and I think I got on in 2011. I know I was living in San Francisco at the time, and I know the exact photo that it is. Let's see, my first Instagram post. I think there used to be like a really easy way to see this, but not that it matters. It was either 2011 or 2012, so Instagram had only been around for a year or two. Interesting, very interesting. All right, boyfriend just called. He's gonna take me and Evie to her favorite dog store, so I'm gonna go change. Okay, so TikTok apparently launched at the end of 2017, so I feel a little bit late to that party, but it is interesting. I have a tendency to get onto a lot of these social platforms within 2 years of them starting, and I feel like a lot of people, it takes longer. Like Instagram, I mean, things are moving differently now, but Instagram, as I said yesterday, I remember in 2013, 2012, I remember like people were really starting to get into it. 2013, people were pretty into it, but it wasn't until 2014 or 2015 that people started like having a lot of influence with it. At least that's my recollection. That's like when I feel like the influencer movement really started. Because I got one of my bigger influencer opportunities in 2013 with Ford. I was given a free car. I don't know if any of you remember this, but I was given a free car for like 6 months or something like that, but that was all through YouTube. And I can't remember if there was a requirement for us to post on Instagram. I don't think that there was. I think they were mostly, the organizers were mostly concerned with YouTube in 2013. But I'm trying to like remember when it's like, I just like have all these memories of different experiences and things like that. My big memory was in early 2013, somebody telling me that Instagram, like a brand owner was telling me that, oh, Instagram doesn't matter. She was like so concerned with people blogging or making videos, and I'll never forget her comment. It's like an email or something I could always go back to. But that's like the defining point in my memory, because she didn't take Instagram that seriously as a brand owner, and now I'm sure it's a huge deal in most people's businesses at this point. Oh, and speaking of Instagram, I went onto my Instagram. I've been avoiding it a lot because I just feel so vulnerable with my book post. Just because I'm afraid people are gonna like get on my case about writing a vegan keto book. Maybe that's just in my imagination. I actually reached out to, on Instagram, I reached out to Liz, who runs Meat Free Keto, and she's been doing vegan keto for a long time, and she says she hasn't received that much criticism. But Evie, I told Evie where we were going. I know, we're gonna go soon, don't worry. We're gonna go there. I can't say the name of the store again, otherwise she's gonna like lose her mind with excitement, but she's so smart. She remembers, yeah, you're gonna come. You gotta wait, honey. So anyways, I reached out to Liz because I was feeling nervous. She said, don't worry about it. Hasn't been that big of a deal for me, but in my head, I'm like still afraid because people have just criticized and attacked me for so many things over the years. I'm just like, it's really draining, and I feel really sensitive. Anyway, so I've been avoiding it, but I went on Instagram briefly today because I was trying to plan out what my next posts were gonna be. And the post I did yesterday has the most likes that I've received in a while, which is not that many, but Instagram has just been really slow and not very engaged for me. So that was nice to see. There was like 19 comments and I didn't read any of them. At least actually one of them I did read. It was from one of my old friends, like I've literally known since I was a couple years old, and it just like popped up somehow because we're friends or something. But she wrote something very sweet. So I mean, there's likely a good amount of positive comments, maybe the majority, but it's like as I was saying yesterday, I don't want to see any negativity because I'm just feeling so sensitive at this moment. If I want to go look at that later, fine. But B, I guess like it's similar to with this channel. In addition to the sensitivity, I also feel like comments are just kind of, a lot of them don't have a lot of true value. It's either people boosting you up, which gives you this temporary boost in self-esteem. It's people being critical, or people maybe asking questions or something. Like, to me, if I could just see questions, if I could just see conversation starters, that's all I care about in comments. That's what I feel bad about when I don't read comments, is I'm afraid of missing out on questions. When I had my assistant Melissa working with me, she was in charge of all that stuff and running by any questions, and right now I don't have an assistant, and that's the one thing I really miss, was her helping me answer comments, because if she was working with me right now, I would just have her read all of those comments, and I would probably have her post for me so I didn't even have to go on social media. Like I'd take the photos and I'd write the captions, and then I'd have her do all the posting so I wouldn't even have to look. And the same thing with this channel. I might have the comments on this channel if she was still working with me, because she used to go through all my YouTube comments and just check and see what people were saying, and if there were questions, if there was kindness, we would acknowledge all of them. And I think she also would acknowledge the criticism if it felt necessary or appropriate, but there were times that she would just have to block people for being really rude. And it was so nice because I just never had to see any of the negativity, and you know, it feels a little weak emotionally, but it's also mainly to protect my mental health, because I have had enough experience that it does not have any benefit for me in this time of my life to read negative comments and all of that. It doesn't help me create content. All right, I gotta go, my boyfriend's here. Baby, which way do we go? Which way? We'll go this way. Yes, you wanna go get treats? You wanna go get treats? Come on. Oh, yeah, she's on the phone. Is that another Jack Russell? Who's that? It is 1:45. I just got up from a 2-hour break / nap, which was longer than I wanted it to be. I was trying to just take a 20-minute nap. And then after my alarm went off, I was like, oh, I'll just sleep for another half an hour. But then a few minutes into trying to sleep longer, Evie started barking, and I just laid in bed for a bit. And my boyfriend came in to take a nap, and we lounged around for a bit. Now I'm gonna dive back into work. And I'm having 3 different drinks in a row. So I just took a sip of this. Actually, 4. This is how mindless I was being. I think I just took a sip of this water. Then I took a sip of this Mad Tasty. Now I'm gonna take a sip of this kombucha, which was left over from the party. It's my favorite kombucha brand. And it's actually not as high in sugar as I thought kombucha was. I used to drink a ton of kombucha before I started the low carb diet. And I was just like obsessed with kombucha, and it was a little sad not having it. But now I'm gonna have a truly keto friendly drink. This is Keto's chocolate maca. It's a protein drink, kind of a meal replacement. I've been having a bad tendency of not eating lunch and just snacking, mainly out of laziness. And one thing I'd like to do, put on my to-do list right now, is to meal plan, to start figuring out what from my book I'm gonna make in which order, because my goal is to go through all the recipes in the book, try them all, follow the meal plans. You hear that honking? Such a weird honk. Anyways, I'm gonna go dive into my to-do list and see how much I can get done before we leave for dinner tonight. We're going out with my boyfriend's friends, and we're going to Benihana, which I've never been to, and it's not like the vegan friendliest of restaurants, but I read from a couple sources that they can do vegan. It just doesn't look that great, so I'm actually looking forward to the experience, because I've heard a lot, but you know, I'm gonna be sitting around watching people eat a lot of animal products and then eating mediocre plant-based food. But who knows, maybe the vegan options will surprise me. Another thing worth mentioning is that before my nap, I finished going through all of the books that are in the bundle sale, and it was really interesting. So I was telling you how I felt kind of like intimidated, or I just like got this whole perspective of all these other influencers that are doing similar work as me. It was like it was very eye-opening. And I think that's one of the things about social media, is it connects us to people all around the world, and for better or for worse, we realize we're not alone. And I think for me, it's realizing constantly that yes, I'm an individual human being, I'm unique in my own ways, but there are so many people that are like me. And I think that's comforting at times. Like, it's comforting for me when I see like vegan keto people, because I feel less weird, or I feel like it's okay, it's more socially acceptable than I thought. And when it comes to veganism, though, I think that's what is really hard for me to see, just the sheer number of people on social media that are posting about vegan food and that are doing it professionally, which is just strange, because you know, I'm going through this bundle sale and I think there are 60 books in it. The great majority of them are very similar to one another, which I think is actually, just to say something nice about the sale, because I do encourage that you look into it. I will link to it down below. It starts on the 1st. I'm really curious about your perspective from the outside, because it's beautifully put together. They found all of these incredible books to go into it. And it's an incredible value. Like, if you just use 3 of the 60 books, like, you've gotten your money's worth and probably more, because most of the books average around $20 each, and it's $50 to get all 60 of them. So it's an insane deal. So I went through every single book and saw what it was all about and read about the authors, and most of these people I'd never heard of, which that makes me think, well, there must be so many other people that I haven't heard of doing this. And I've kind of known that, you know, as the vegan YouTube world has expanded and the blog world and all that stuff. But I think it was like, we're all in this together, and these books are so similar to one another. And I felt really grateful that I think I'm the only one that did a book specifically about budgeting. A few of them mention how to eat on a budget, but I was in like a small category of books that were about something unique. So there was like, there's a book about raising vegan kids. There's, well, there's a bunch of fitness books. I think at least 6. There were at least 3 books about vegan for the holidays. There was one wedding book. Okay, so the wedding and the kids and the budget book, those are pretty more on the unique side. Most of the books are about recipes or meal planning. And it was just so fascinating. After a while, I was like, as I was going through all of them at this rapid pace, just thinking, there's just so many people saying very similar things. I mean, you can also say that when it comes to cookbooks. Actually, the vegan keto book, there are already a bunch of vegan keto books on Amazon. I forget, I kind of lost count. There's a couple that are like, have better reviews and look more professional, but then there are a bunch of just random ones on Amazon, and then I'm sure a bunch more. I remember, and maybe this is partially my imagination, but I recall that when I went vegan keto in August 2018, yeah, I remember like really struggling to find information about it. And then towards the end of 2018, I started to find more information, and I found Liz's website, Meat Free Keto, and her book. I might have found her book before the website. And then Will Cole, Ketotarian, came out too. I think they might have both came out this year, at the beginning of this year. I don't know, it's a bit of a blur, but my point being, I didn't see that much about vegan keto. I didn't even know if it was possible. And I remember my friend Jason being like, oh, is it actually possible to be vegan and keto? It's not too limiting. And it's just so interesting that there's actually a vegan keto ebook in the bundle sale that I did not write. And now it feels like there's more and more people talking about it. So it's just fascinating to me how there's so much happening and so many people doing things that are similar to one another, and I don't think it's intentional. I think it's just we all think very similarly, and it's hard to do something really unique these days. It's almost like you have to plan to be unique, but then that kind of ruins the authenticity of it, right? I don't know fully what my point in saying all this is, but I guess part of my point is that I feel a little less intimidated, and I am grateful that I didn't submit a cookbook to this bundle. Okay, I'm gonna go work on the bundle now. Done with work for the day. As much as I would rather not stop, I am gonna stop because it's time to go to dinner. I have hiccups, by the way. I'm trying to get rid of. Look what my boyfriend bought today. I assume that he bought it for me, but I think that both of us are gonna use this. He talked to me about getting this for my Christmas present, and then he went to the store today and surprised me and just got it today, even though it's days after Christmas. So excited. I mentioned it's an inversion table. It has like a little massage and heating section here. I've just been wanting one because I get a lot of pain in my hips. I'm trying to decide what to wear. This is like my go-to sweater right now. I probably could wear that, but I feel like I wear that all the time. And I guess I could wear this. I'll wear this. Okay. Because I'm probably gonna wear that gray sweater tomorrow. I'm not positive about the, attire I'll wear for the New Year's party, but I don't know. I'll figure it out tomorrow. I'm gonna wear this. I need a better bra for that too. Gosh, I don't even, where do hiccups come from? Okay, I think I'll wear this. Pants. Could wear these pants. I don't know. Okay. So, today felt very productive, even though there's a lot more that I would like to get done. I'm okay with my stopping point at the moment. I made some big progress with organizing my computer and doing some things that I've literally been procrastinating for over a year. And you may have seen it. I will link to them down below in the description, but I uploaded some old vlogs to the Uncensored channel, which, if you didn't know, is my channel that was basically this channel. And so I had a couple of videos that I had recorded for that channel last year, and I don't know why I never posted them. Maybe I got self-conscious or something. But it was actually perfect because the first one I posted today was me talking about transitioning to this channel. So it was perfect timing because, and also really interesting just to see how a year ago I was really feeling ready to transition from Eco Vegan Gal to Whitney Lauritsen. And then I've spent this whole year kind of feeling really iffy about it, and now I'm starting to feel a lot stronger, but it took me over a year to get to this point, and it's really been in my head for longer than that too. So that, and then I was just trying to get things done, because that's going to be a big focus of next year, which starts in just a few days. So I wanted to free up space on my laptop by finally uploading a bunch of those videos. And the other video that I uploaded that's going to go out tomorrow on the Uncensored channel was about my vegan keto journey. And that's so perfect because right now I'm in the stage of promoting my book. And I watched this video that I recorded over a year ago, and thought that I was very eloquent. I was actually very surprised. So that was exciting to find. So that's going up on there, and I feel like those are great introductions to this channel. So if you came to this channel because you watched those videos, welcome. Somebody told me that this channel feels like the Uncensored channel, which is not necessarily intentional. I think it's just the Uncensored channel has always been more of my authentic self, whereas the Eco Vegan Gal channel, I guess like when I first started, Eco Vegan Gal was more authentic. And I'm not to say that I've been fake necessarily. It's just that I feel like I've been very like presentery and polished and edited and all that stuff. And even on social media, I'm just sick of doing all that. I'm sick of editing. So these videos I just film and string together and post. And that's the way I want to do it. My podcast is just one take. It's never like planned out, and it's rarely a multiple take. Some of the episodes, like the first few episodes Jason and I did, we had like multiple takes because we were not sure what we were doing. And we do actually have a podcast editor, so we could easily do multiple takes. But my point being, I'm just more somebody that just wants to talk and express myself and not feel like I have to edit it and make it super polished. And I want to do the same thing on social media. So actually today, just within the past half hour, I posted a photo of me sitting at my desk with my hair up like this and no makeup. And I thought, well, maybe I should just wait till I put my makeup on for tonight. But I didn't, because I just want to start posting makeup-free photos and just like not do my hair and just be me. I mean, especially as people are finding out about my Whitney Lauritsen accounts, I'd rather just get to know me or see me for the first time with no makeup, and that's how I lead my channel, versus all these years I've been running the Eco Vegan Gal social media trying to make it look right and Instagram worthy and polished and all that other stuff that it's too exhausting, and it doesn't even feel worth it. And it's incredibly empowering the more that I embrace this, the more that I practice this, which is really, really exciting. And it's fulfilling the whole point of this channel, which was to release the shame. So I just feel great right now. I planned out my whole promotion schedule for the book, so that's done. I don't know, time flies by. Those are probably the big things off the top of my head. Tomorrow is the last day of the year, and it would be really nice if I had the whole day off, but instead I'm going to be doing a ton of work. I got to prepare for the bundle sale, and I did a bunch of that work today too. I worked a little bit on the consistency code, which starts in a couple days. So I feel very accomplished, which is great. Considering it's 6:10 and we're going out for the evening, hopefully I can be very present. We probably won't be home till late. It's possible I might try to get some work in when we're back, but I really try to leave the nights open for me and my boyfriend to be present with each other, because he's always done with work by the evening. A lot of times we go out to eat, or we watch a movie or TV show. And tonight we're going out to eat, so that's why I'm putting on makeup. I'm meeting one of his friends for the first time, and just going out with a group, so felt like putting on makeup just feels more comfortable. So I will try to record a bit during dinner, show you what vegan food I find at Benihana, and if not then I'll check in with you later, maybe. Or this might be the end of the video. I don't know in this moment. Okay, I'm gonna go focus on doing my makeup. Bye. Perfect.
That was wrong. Going. That's the new Mr. Rogers. Here comes the tofu. We're going to.
I'm gonna put that up my nose.
Mandarin.
Here, Rod. That's right.
Dude, that was all you. So they just did an episode last week at Air.
No, it is. It was not very fun.
He goes, I was really close to a Brett Kavanaugh game at the Will Smith Center. And then Martin Lawrence goes, no, I ain't got no regrets. I got paid for all of them. He's like, I don't care. He goes, I know what Silver does, but I got paid for all of them.
No.
It's gonna bubble.
Oh, I don't like it. You're going over, Camille.
Nice. It's a train.
Wow.
Yeah. Clubbing. Here we go. We're clubbing.
Rob is so mesmerized.
What? Rob, you're mesmerized. What is that? How big?
What are you gonna get?
It's gonna get a similar.
Hey?
It's really good.
Back from evening, had a really nice time at Benihana. Switch. Yeah, they were super accommodating with vegan options. I indulged a lot. I could have actually had a fairly low carb meal, especially if I had just had vegetables, and the tofu, kind of low carb. But ended up having some of the fried rice. And oh, actually the salad I had was really delicious. It was like a ginger dressing. But ended up having the fried rice. I think just because I hadn't eaten that much today, and I don't know, I kind of regret it because it wasn't that good. But I'm trying not to be too strict about carbohydrates because I don't think it's good for my mental health. I read a number of books about body image and eating disorders and diet culture, and one of the biggest messages they have for avoiding eating disordered or disordered thinking about your body and food is just to eat what you really want to eat and just enjoy it and not obsess over it. And I've been doing that a lot lately, so that's kind of more of my concern. But I don't know, it's tricky. You know, you want to justify, oh, you're celebrating, it's the holidays, and you're trying to enjoy yourself. But I also have a lot of fears about putting back on weight as I did last year. It just kind of crept up on me over time, and then suddenly I found myself 30 pounds heavier than normal, and I don't want to be there again. But it's really tricky. It's not a simple thing, our bodies, at all. And I think that a lot of people try to simplify food and fitness and thinking about your body, but in my experience, it's really complex. You just have to take it meal by meal. So speaking of indulging, my boyfriend and I, on the way home, went to this ice cream shop called Salt and Straw. And I wasn't planning on having much, but they are doing like this vegan special right now. They had 5 new vegan options in addition to their usuals. I think they have 2 or 3. And so we tried all the flavors, and we ended up getting one, and it was good, but it wasn't great. And the sugar in that, like, I feel like rice is one thing, but eating desserts really doesn't make me feel, those type of desserts doesn't make me feel good. So that was definitely a big indulgence for me. And I don't feel great right now, but you know what? That happens sometimes. I started actually working on my meal plan. I'm gonna go through every book, every recipe in my vegan keto cookbook, make them all, follow meal plans. And I know I'll feel better in so many ways doing that. So I guess like that's the other thing with vegan keto is it's not necessarily ideal to do long term. Most doctors recommend that you do it short term